from the Vatican. Here is Pope Leo XIV holding his first meeting and audience with reporters. Now, this is something Pope Francis did, something Pope Benedict did, so it's a bit of a tradition, but ere you see, and others obviously bringing along not just the reporters, but family members too, but quite an audience here. And then he delivered a speech. He did most of it in Italian, but even a few words in English.
Good morning, and thank you for this wonderful reception. They say when they clap at the beginning, it doesn't matter much. If you're still awake at the end and you still want to applaud, thank you very much.
So, thanking the journalists who have been covering the death of Pope Francis and, of course, his election in the conclave was wrapped up at the end of last week. One of the journalists who's been covering all of it for us is with us live this morning. That's Megan Williams. I don't know. I'm kind of taking that in, a little bit of a joke to begin the speech to the world's journalists and reporters, Megan. That kind of sets a new tone.
I know, Heather, a joke with a Midwestern American accent.
It's strange.
It's really strange, but his Italian is amazing. I mean, he speaks almost accentless Italian. And his speech was kind of amazing, too. I mean, he went on to talk about imprisoned journalists and to call for the release of imprisoned journalists. He thanked war correspondents and spoke about the fact that a lot of journalists are risking their lives to cover conflict. He spoke about artificial intelligence and his concerns that be used responsibly. He also spoke about his concern about loud voices in journalism, sort of ideologically driven voices that drown out voices of journalists who should be giving voice to the weak, who often, what he said, have no voice. So it was quite, I think you could call it a fairly political speech, especially when you compare it to what Pope Francis and what Pope Benedict said to us in their first days, in their first address to journalists. I mean, Pope Francis, during his speech, was mostly concerned about how journalists covered the Vatican. And before he became Pope, he used some very strong and not particularly complimentary language to describe what a lot of journalists do. So this is a Pope who seems to understand the importance of freedom of speech, which he talked about as well. I think everybody was quite impressed, and he got, a roaring applause, especially when he spoke about imprisoned journalists.
And as far as, it's been a busy couple of days with the first blessing yesterday there from the balcony. What is next on Pope Leo's agenda, Megan?
Well, a couple of days from now, he will meet with the Vatican Diplomatic Corps on Sunday, May 18th. That will be his inaugural Mass, where his papacy officially launches. Then he will meet with the Vatican Curia, that's a Vatican administration, and give them a speech. I remember some of Pope Francis's speeches to the Curia were quite critical in chastising them about gossiping and things like that. We'll see. But, so far, the tone of this Pope is sort of more casual in a way, although Pope Francis could say things off the cuff, but also pretty tuned in to important global issues.